look at your own observations, your own experience. Are you happy with the direction marriage has been going for the last 2 generations? If you are, let me know. I think most of us can easily look at our history, probably within most of our families, and see that there has been a continuous breakdown of this call to marriage. And as such, we can say, do you want to see a change? Do you want to see it become such that it will be different in the new world, where we won't be looking at over 50% of our young people having only a single parent, or more than 50% of our young people experiencing the consequences of divorce, or well more than that, having to raise themselves in the home situations that they have. If you like that situation, then let it keep going like it is. If you want to see a change, it can change. And you can make it change. Today we hear Jesus pointedly direct the apostles and everyone around him back to the way God the Father created marriage. It's a good place to start, isn't it? And there's so much we can learn there. We're not even going to try to figure out all the different possibilities that we see in the creation of Adam and Eve. But there is a good bit. As a matter of fact, you can look at it and say, that's a story you probably already heard. So which is better? Sometimes men look down and think, yeah, all right, another one of the stories. And women don't like the idea because the Jews, the man could divorce the wife, but that was a Roman custom where the woman could divorce the husband. But they look at this and say, which is better, the man or the woman? Well, which is better? To have been made from mud, or to be made from an intelligent being? Well, somewhat intelligent being. Or some say God works like everyone else works on the proto-model first, and then you work on the real thing, right? So men need to appreciate you a lot more than I'm sure they do. We look at this gift of marriage, and we see the creation of Adam. Creation of Adam. Adam did not create himself. God created him. Then we see the creation of Eve. Adam did not create Eve. God created Eve. That becomes a basis for us. That we look at human life, and we recognize that every single human life is created by Almighty God. That God is the one who breathed life into us, just as he did with Adam. And looking at that, we look at how God is the one who created marriage. He didn't make us like worms, amorphous beings who could self-reprocreate, but he made us male and female, it says. That through this divine mystery, God intends for us to enter into a greater understanding of his mystery of Trinity. That God is a Trinity of love. And he creates human beings to experience that by the total giving of one life to another. And through that, often another life comes to reflect their love for one another. The gift of love must always be there and growing. We look at the creation of Adam and Eve, and you like this one too, I bet. We look at Eve, men get into their skin sometimes, especially when you don't have enough work around. And that time they were in paradise, and gets under Eve's skin, and it's like Eve looks at him and says, "I wouldn't marry you if you were the last man on earth." And he looks at him. "Do you see someone else around?" Well, guess what? What does that tell us? Think about it. How much choice did Adam and Eve have about who they were marrying? God created them for one another. They didn't have a long dating process to see if, well, I don't know if this is the one or not. He looks at the animals, but that was a no-brainer. God gives us one another. And if nothing else comes from that, we can recognize that actually any two human beings, with the grace of God, can pretty well live together. Yeah. Any two human beings can love one another. Yeah. We're called to be a people of love. So when we look at all this, well, it didn't work out. We don't love each other like we used to. Well, really? What happened? Yeah, somebody moved. In other words, the gift of love is a call on our part to know God. And if we know God, we can love. And if we are both loving, there's no worry about the marriage being two in one. We look at this gift of Adam and Eve, and we see what God has done for us in terms of that call to a perpetuity of a call of love. And looking today and say, do you want to see marriage change? Then you certainly can. I'd like to share with you today a testimony that I think really moved me a great deal because it tells me how you're going to make a change. The testimony is by, you probably heard of Garth Brooks, right? Most of you are probably country fans somewhat. And Garth Brooks, his brother, Mike Brooks, is principal of St. Patrick's Catholic School in Rolla, as well as Catholic School over in St. James. He's also a deacon in the church. His brother is a convert, Mike is. Mike and his wife are both converts. But they tell the story about when they were in college and getting into the dating scene, how they both came from broken backgrounds, both had divorce as very much part of life, and his wife was saying, well, when I looked at marriage, I thought, maybe 3-4 years at best, that's what's going to be. So, she found Mike and said, yeah, we could probably make 4 years, and then we'll move on. I said, that's definitely their intention when they entered into marriage. Not only that, she said, looking at the background that we both had, she said, there's never going to be any kids. No kids, period. We're going to live together and we'll prosper and do well, and we'll find somebody else after 4 years. Something happened. He got assigned to a place right here at Fort Leonard Wood and got in with a couple of Catholics. And some of the Catholics there said, Mike, you don't look awful happy with your, something, and talk about the marriage then. It's like, Mike, we got something for you. And this guy got him talked into going on a marriage encounter. And they went on a marriage encounter and came back and continued to participate with the Catholics there in a small group on a regular basis and sharing about life and about family and about love. Mike and his wife began to think, gee, marriage can last maybe longer than 4 or 5 years. And they came to a new commitment. They came into the church. And they came to have 4 kids. And while she said there was no way she could ever raise a kid and not qualify for it, she said she became known as the best mother in the neighborhood. And I mean, it's such a beautiful story that said it can be done. But so often, the society we live in looks around and says, it's just the way it is. You get tired of one another, find somebody else. You don't have to sweat. You don't have to put up with anything. And the world is missing the best part. Most of you can probably testify to that. Anybody here never had any problems in their marriage? Yeah, that comes with the territory, doesn't it? Anytime 2 people live together, we come through a struggle time. But you know what? So often it's when you find out there's a wall there and you break through that wall, guess what? There's something better waiting, isn't there? There's something better waiting, a different quality, a different kind of love. And that's the love that so many in the world never come to discover or know because they're not willing to struggle through that point. Today, as we think about this gift of marriage and we think about Pro-Life Month, I'd like you to think about how you are called to and how you can make a difference in the world. If every Catholic were truly living their call to marriage in the grace of God, there's no question you and I could change the society where there will be a society of love, a society of families, a society where the idea of divorce may become very scarce again. Today, pray about your own marriage. Pray about how you can be a witness and how you can even, all of us need retreats. All of us need once in a while to be stirred up. How you can take part in some opportunity that the church has to enlighten and strengthen your own marriage so that the world can be the kind of place that you and I want.